Hello everyone, welcome back to another Sonic Adventure 2 video. So I know I've been gone for a little bit over a week, but I'll address that towards the end of this video. For now, let's talk about what we'll be doing. I love my Sonic levels, you guys know this, but Shadows levels aren't getting enough appreciation on this channel, which is kind of ironic considering the topic of this video. We'll be looking at Shadows levels and identifying the worst thing about each of them. That could be music, which it won't be, level design, sections, gimmicks, whatever. Anything is fair game. But just remember that the worst thing about a level might not always be inherently terrible, so keep that in mind. Without further ado though, I think we can start the video. Well, everybody knows that Radical Highway is a top tier stage. It may not be your absolute favorite, but objectively speaking, it's a great stage. So it was a little bit hard for me to identify something that took away from it. But I did land on something that I think is fair game. It has to be the ending section to Radical Highway. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad section. It's just not as good as the others. The issue with this is that it starts off with a nice straightaway, but then gives you a finicky turn where you're punished if you go too quickly, because you'll hit the wall. You have a loop-de-loop, which will speed you up, but it's automated, so whatever your opinions about that. Another finicky turn, don't spin dash, because you'll come to a complete stop if you do, followed by tons of automation, tons of it, I tell you. And then you get a nice shoot off to the goal. Okay. So here, I'll say this much. I do like automation. Especially in the adventure era. The adventure era has automation so Sonic can be the spectacle that he's supposed to be, right? We lose control as the player, but then the camera takes over and gives us this really cool view of Sonic or Shadow doing this cool stunt, right? That's the point. It's the thrill of playing a Sonic game. I like that, and that should remain a thing. Now, I am aware that, yes, obviously the automation in the end of Radical Highway could be considered a little much. The way I see it, though, it's meant to make Shadow look good, and it does exactly that, so I don't have many issues there. But the fact that you can get janked so easily just because you're moving a little too fast, yeah, that's anti-Sonic design right there. That's not good. That's not what we want here. Luckily, as long as you don't spin dash, it shouldn't really be much of an issue, but I don't know, I hate the idea that if you embrace the fact that you're supposed to go fast, the game might punish you for it. I don't know. Not a terrible section, but a weaker one. So finding what was weakest about White Jungle was actually harder than Radical Highway, and that's because I find White Jungle is a jack-of-all-trades stage where there's not really a lot here to hold it back, but I did identify something that I think could be fair game. We'll see what you guys think. I found White Jungle to be kind of static, in the sense where there's not a lot here that deviates from something like Green Forest. We have a lot of reused assets, too many to count. Textures are basically completely the same. There is not really much here that does much to differ from Green Forest other than a couple gimmicks. I know Adventure 2 has this issue general where you will see a lot of reusing of assets and textures and duplicating rooms in the same level. Yeah, it's a big problem in Adventure 2. And with White Jungle, it's not really much different, but luckily White Jungle offers just enough of its own taste that it doesn't feel like a carbon copy of Green Forest, even if I would much rather play that level. So, the thing with Skyrail is, while I do enjoy the stage, it actually has quite a few minor annoyances that were all eligible for this. But I did end up going with just one, and I think that this is a pretty confident take. For me, I had to say the Gold Beetle rail was probably the worst section, combining homing attacks with a rail that likes to curve and turn, so sometimes when you land, you'll lose all your momentum, and it's just a little bit messy. If you don't want to go for any ring capsules or enemies, then this section should probably be pretty straightforward. Usually you don't lose a lot of speed if you don't do anything out of the norm, but if you're ambitious and curious, well, you're gonna face a couple issues. Some people don't like Adventure 2's take on rail grinding, and Skyrail's probably the biggest source of where that anger comes from. Son of a bitch! This is another one of those anti-Sonic level designs where the more ambitious and creative and whatnot that you want to be, the more speed that you lose. Seriously, why is that a thing? Taking almost every risk that this part of the level offers you and doing it quite well, maybe not perfect, but close to, and then actually getting punished for all of that because by the end of it, you can't even make that gap! Anti-Sonic design, making sure you never explore a nook and cranny ever again, you little shit. Alright, it's Final Chase. Let's play a guessing game. What's the worst part of the level? Is it the music? No. The enemies? No. Is it the aesthetic? No, you silly bitch. Well, it's a running stage, so Shadow should go fast. Okay! The cylinders don't like fast. They kill you for going fast. And when they don't kill you for going fast, they almost kill you for existing. Yeah, this gimmick right here is just an issue. It's so broken. It's so annoying. Homing attacking into them is risky. Running into them at a high speed is risky. Spin dashing into them is an absolute no-no. It's just poor design overall, and I'm shocked that these made it into the game the way they are. And listen, I understand that Adventure 2 itself is not the most polished game of all time, but really? This? In a final level? Like, surely you would have ensured that these would work better? No? It's a shame that Sonic Team couldn't really pull together and polish these the way that they could have been, so Final Chase could be a really good note to end on for the Dark Story. Fortunately, though, they remain as a mechanism that is better to avoid than to rely on. If you find geometry or something that you can use in Final Chase that can cause you to skip a couple of these, do it. I implore you. It makes Final Chase much more fun. Well, everyone, that brings this video to an end. I can understand if you felt like this video was a little rushed and not quite as polished as some of my other videos. Honestly, I had to do this video on a whim. Here's the thing. I finally complete my Cannon's Core video by December 21st, which was planned to be my final video before Christmas. In the days that followed, I would spend extra time trying to assemble clips, and then by the time Boxing Day came around, or the 27th, I'd have another juicy video for you guys to take a look at. That was originally what was supposed to happen. And then I got sick on Christmas. I know, very festive, isn't it? But it wasn't so bad on Christmas. Then on Boxing Day, I ironically lost the match, if you catch my drift. I was beaten to a pulp that day. I've been getting better the past few days, which means that I will be able to go back to making regular videos at some point soon, probably within a few days, give or take. And that big video that I had originally planned for will still happen. I have all my footage ready to go. I just have to condense some things, narrate some things, and by condense and narrate some things, I mean plenty of things. But that is where I've been for the last few days. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you had a wonderful day. Take care for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.